Good evening and welcome to The Square. Tonight is a timely conversation as we look at the recently renamed, rebranded BK Arena. We all know on the 24th of May, formerly known as Kigali Arena, was renamed as BK Arena from the Bank of Kigali. And this is a new development that is going on for 6 years that had a $7 million infusion into the facility. We're very happy to welcome with us our guests tonight who are going to share more information on the rationale for this very important decision, as well as the expectations and outcomes on how to grow events around the arena and sports industry, the sports tourism industry in general. I would like to start by welcoming our guests here with us tonight. We have with us Kyle Schofield, who's the Director of Q&A Venue Solutions. Kyle, great to have you on the show.
Brilliant. Thank you for having me on the show, and look forward to discussing the new partnership that we're extremely proud to be a part of.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kyle. Also joining us on behalf of Bank of Kigali PLC is Audrey Kazera, who's the head of marketing. Audrey, great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, Diana. I'm very happy to be here.
Great. We are happy to have you, both key partners talking about this new partnership and shedding more light on what this means. Also in general, like I said earlier on, for the sports tourism industry. My name is Diana Mpisi, host of The Square. As always, I'm joined by The Square's panelists. And joining us tonight is Charles Haba. Charles, great to have you on the show.
Same here, Diana. How are you?
A bit under the weather, but getting better.
Yes.
Yes. Great.
Struggling too a little bit, but we'll be fine, yeah.
There's I know it's not COVID, but there's a common cold going around that's really hitting people a bit hard.
Mild COVID.
Yeah, especially children. Yeah, so Brenna Namata is also a resident panelist. Unfortunately, she's not here with us tonight, but I know she'll be joining from wherever she is. So like we always do on The Square, we have what we call midweek highlights, where The Square's and panelists share things that they've caught at their attention so far at this juncture of the week. And Charles, I'm sure there's something you'd like to share with us.
Yeah, the biggest fights are usually amongst brothers and sisters. When it comes to countries, it's neighbors. And I don't know any one country ever that has never had troubles, that has never stopped having troubles with its neighbors. We always play, we always have issues with our neighbors, specifically the DRC. And there's the recent skirmishes, if I may call them so, are not really taking us by surprise, but I think the tone is taking a very different and aggressive direction, where you're having people inciting fellow Congolese against Rwandans. You're having a situation where Congolese are making utterances and very aggressive moves towards banning Rwandese properties and calling more or less for killing of the people, wiping them off, at a time when it's where we're looking in Rwanda, we're looking at hosting CHOGM. In the DRC, they have presidential elections coming up, so you sort of want to see, is there something really genuine, or there is malice, a forethought about destabilizing either the elections or our CHOGM, or is it again the same genocidal forces that have been camped in the DRC for almost 3 decades now, that are always easy to fan and bring chaos, but it's very unfortunate events.
Very unfortunate, especially in light of the past developments between Rwanda and DRC, and looking at different bilateral talks that have been held, and this comes up. But definitely looking forward to seeing our leadership take this on and deal with the issue as it should be. So thank you once again to our viewers for tuning in. Thank you once again to our guests, Kyle Schofield from QA Venue Solutions, Director, as well as you, Audrey, on behalf of Bank of Kigali PLC. So the first question, really, and I would like to kick off with you, Kyle, is to do with the naming rights and the expectations when we come to this. So if you could share with us, what is the rationale behind the new rebrand of the arena and the expected outcomes of this 6-year, $7 million deal? And I'll start with you on behalf of the arena, because, we'll hear from Becca as to why they came into this partnership, but we'd like to hear from you on behalf of the venue, and how this deal will make a big impact on it?
Yeah, so I mean, we were mandated from the get-go to commercialize the arena. And with that, we obviously look at what happens across the globe with regards to commercialization of these spaces. And one of the biggest assets is the naming rights of the building, which ultimately allows us to put together resources to further invest in what we have as an objective. And that's on one side commercializing the space, but on the other side is creating a robust calendar of events that has a significant impact on our industry. And we hope as time goes also plays a part as being a contributor in a significant way to the economy. So what we've embarked on with our partners from BK is something historical. From an Africa perspective, this is the first of its kind. It is the largest naming right deal, and we're very proud to be in this position with our partners. And of course, again, hats off to the government of Rwanda in being able to take these bold steps in allowing us to commercialize a national key point. But I think the outlook of this is something that we need to be extremely proud of, because it's going to have a significant impact.
Thank you, Kyle. When you say it's the biggest, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you have sort of financial institutions like banks in South Africa having naming rights to stadiums, hasn't this been done before, or did you mean in the region this sort of partnership is the first of its kind?
Yeah, I think if you look at the value of the deals that have been put together, even in South Africa, we can look at the Ticket Pro Dome that was taken up. We can look at the recent acquisition, which was the Greenpoint Stadium that was taken by DHL. DHL deal was a close contender, but if we look at the overall value of what the partnership is with BK, we sit on top. And I think if we go into the space of comparing apples with apples, we are an arena, and we're competing with naming right deals that are for stadiums, 80, 90,000 seater stadiums. So that's a feather in our cap, if I can call it that, from a partnership perspective. And again, I think it's something we stand very proud on.
Thank you very much, Kyle. So yeah, Beka, Bank of Kigali. Why this partnership? What's the rationale behind it? I know you want to reach to a wider audience, especially a youth-based audience, a more diverse, targeted audience through different channels, which is the arena. But yeah, explain to us the rationale and also the expectations you see this partnership giving into in the next couple of years.
Thank you, Diana. So you said it right. We want to attract the youth segment. It's a segment that is very interesting for us because we know that the youth are the future of Rwanda. So BK has been known as a corporate bank for the past years, and with this partnership, we are going mostly after the retail segment and the youth, especially, and there is no better way than the arena supporting sports, events. That's where you connect with the youth. So it was really, it's a great choice. It's obvious for us to go after that segment, and with the partnership with the arena, we are able to reach the youth. We are able to market our products. As we said when we were announcing the partnership, we even created a card, the BK Arena card, which is going to help drive cashless transaction. It's a card with minimum KYC, so anyone can get it. You don't need to have a bank account to be able to get the card, and the card operates like any other bank card, so you can use it at any POS, ATM. You can buy things online. And we thought that's really a good value proposition for the youth. So definitely we want to attract more youth to come to BK.
Before I hand over to Charles, I'm sure he has quite a lot to say on the topic. Why the name BK Arena? Bank of Kigali, before it was known as Kigali Arena. Did you have to put BK on the signage in terms of brand? There's been a lot of pushback on social media where people are asking, really, why it doesn't look well, in terms of aesthetic, it's not that, some have said not that pleasing. Could it just still be Kigali Arena, or, what's...
Yeah, so the deal was the naming rights,
yes.
And of course, the name is something that is very important. So BK, as you know, we are going in as a group, not just as the bank. This is a deal with BK Group. And BK Group has 4 subsidiaries, yes. So Bank of Kigali, BK Tech, BK Capital, and BK Tech House. So each subsidiary will have something, will have a role to play in the arena, and so we decided to go with BK Arena to represent the whole group. Yeah. So for about like the pushback, of course, when change comes, it's difficult sometimes for people to adopt, but we believe there is a lot of good things that will come out of this partnership. There is a lot of opportunities, and just tell our audience and our customers to stay tuned. They are going to see a lot of benefit out of this partnership. Yeah.
Charles?
I was a little bit conflicted when this topic came up because I am very involved in sport. I've been in sports administration for more than half of my life. I just got to know today that Kyle and I have another relationship brewing. Becca is my bank, so I'm not too sure whether I can tell half truths or speak openly as I would have loved to. But that said, I think I share the same sentiments as you, Diana, on the branding, and I feel, and I went to watch the game. I watched 2 ball games, but it was one that was after the naming rights that really stood out to me, and that was the 3rd and 4th playoff game. It was last week on Friday, and it's after the social media feed about the coldness of the brand and the way it looks, it was really in my face. So we took a picture actually, and please don't crucify me or Dre. I wanted to cut out BK because there's a way in which when you look at the signage, BK
it's smaller.
Arena, it's it's visibly an afterthought. So I think that's something. I hope that's something that you can address because it's quite cold from a brand and visibility perspective. That said, however, I think the size of BK and the size of the arena, if you're to talk about brands, BK is a very, very big brand. The arena is a growing brand. So they lend so much to one another, and I think that's really the purposes of fusioning such deals. That I have a fantastic piece of infrastructure. You have a very strong brand. I pull events. I pull sports. I'm capable of doing quite a bit more. But you have the money. So how then do we merge that? And without being taught about how the deal happened, I guess that's what was behind. Now. The public is going to be a very big judge of you guys, Kyle and Audrey and your respective brands, to see whether what that is only going to mean. We are aware of the fact that building a piece of infrastructure that is of the Kigali Arena standard is a surmountable task. It's cost the government and the taxpayer loads of money. So if money did not actually exchange hands, and Kyle is talking about the value of the deal, if money did not actually exchange hands, then we might not see that value of the deal. So the public is watching. The public is watching, and we hope that the strengths of your brand and the beauty of the arena are going to really come out well with this marriage. Yeah.
I like that, marriage. My next question for you, Kyle, and for everyone on the panel really, is to do with the sports tourism industry. You have been director of QA Venue Solutions, largely since the BK Arena became active, and we've had multiple tournaments there in different fields of sport. From basketball to volleyball. We've had different concerts there as well, in spite of the 2-year pandemic. If you could just give us, just talk a bit more on, from your perspective as someone who's managing the arena, what do you think are, what do you think is a major part of the impact regarding this facility when it comes to Rwanda's sports tourism industry, and what do you envision for the future, really?
Yeah, look, we at a very interesting time when it comes to our industry. I think for a long time on the continent, what we do from a sport and creative space has largely been overlooked. It's been looked at something that governments drive. It's been looked at something that is really just to entertain people. But I think what's starting to happen with our industry is people are starting to recognize it as a business. They're seeing the investment opportunities. They're seeing the impact that these major sporting events have coming into a country. And so I think, infrastructure like the arena is something that will play a significant role in really bringing sports, entertainment, and culture into one space, and ultimately creating an economy around it, which, again, we find ourselves very fortunate to be in the middle of that, because we are in a country that is pushing that agenda in a big way. I mean, we look at 2021, I don't think there's any venue across the world that hosted that many international events in one space. And that's a big message. That's a big message to Rwanda as a country, and that's a big message to Africa as a continent, that we have a very clear vision on what we're trying to do. And we're showcasing the impacts of this. We just had BAL that took place. We've just announced a naming right deal. All of these things send clear messages to the industry at large that Rwanda is ready, and Rwanda has the ability to host major sporting events. So a very, very exciting time, an interesting period, which I'm personally very proud that Rwanda is championing this idea of creating sports as a industry.
Do you want to shed more light on that from your perspective as Beka, now that you're part of this partnership? Obviously, I don't know how much Beka has been supporting the sports tourism industry before, but now that like Charles said, you're married. It's a $7 million marriage with QA Venue Solutions. What are you thinking in terms of sports or the sports industry, based on this partnership?
So it's an industry that is growing, as Kyle said. If you look at the events that were hosted recently, BAL, the FIBA, and all the others, so it's really growing. And it was in a difficult period during the pandemic where there was a lot of restrictions, and now that we even see restrictions easing, so it's very promising. So we can expect more than what we have already seen. So it's an industry that is growing, and BK, I think, we have been sponsoring a couple of sports, Ferwaba, and even entertainment as well, activities. And so we are moving now to another level, a bigger level, because we're really confident that this is an industry that is going to continue to grow. Yeah, absolutely.
Charles, the sports tourism industry, I know we've spoken about it on the show several times.
I think if you're to look at these things in isolation, you may lose out on the bigger picture, and the bigger picture being MICE tourism. When the government of Rwanda made a very bold and aggressive move to invest hundreds of millions of dollars across our airline and expanding it, the Kigali Convention Center, fast forward, doing a new international airport, and somewhere in between improving our airport. But also if you look at the other hotels that government has a hand in one or another. All these investments need accompanying initiatives to be able to sustain them. And we sort of, and Kyle has alluded to this, we sort of miss the point when we only look at the arena as, excuse me, to take us some time to remember it's the BK Arena. You still have a lot of work to do, Audrey. To remember that the arena is not only a basketball event. Because for crying out loud, it's also very difficult to fill up that venue, even when there's a basketball game. With the exception of when the top flight clubs, Reg and Patriots are playing, try and get Espoir playing one of the other clubs like UGB. You'll struggle. I have a friend who went to watch the finals and he told me, the numbering of their tickets was invalid because it got too closer to the game time and they had to find a way of filling up the seats. So however you like it or not, and this is not unique to basketball, even when you go to football, the most popular game in this country, the stadiums only fill up when APR is playing Rayon Sport. So the point I'm raising is we do not expect the arena to fill up by basketball only, and that's why the importance of the other events and especially entertainment comes into play. Now, for that to work, and that really comes into my earlier point around the ecosystem that is going to make the investments that government has done across all the other infrastructures and services to pay off, is if we have the entire ecosystem working smoothly. And I'm just going to give like a wild example of something that I know BK has done. And it's at this stage that I probably give you my fee note for free mileage and that I'm giving you. So we spoke the other day about the importance of the taxi system and the guys who drive cabs, and how it's important that when you're picked up at the airport, the guy is just not going to sit behind his wheel and ask you where, and you say Serena, and then you drive to Serena, and that's it. That the guy can be able to confidently engage you in a conversation and tell you welcome to Kigali. On Friday you can go to the arena, Bruce Melody will be singing. On Saturday you can do this and that and that. All these other things to do. You guys I know have supported cab guys to acquire cars and new cars at that. How then can all the other things that you do fit into the ecosystem of the events and sporting space, to ensure that this whole MICE tourism journey that we're taking makes sense, I would, for instance, like you to spend $50 million on Tyson Fury coming to fight at the BK Arena. That would be big, wouldn't it be, Kyle? Things like that. So my expectation is that let's not look at just this deal in its isolation, but what everybody brings to the table. Yeah.
True. Yeah. Actually, Charles, you mentioned something, and I want to dig a bit deeper, Kyle and Audrey. The 7 million, and this is from a layperson's perspective, this is the same sort of question that most of our viewers are having, at least most of Rwandan citizens had when this partnership deal was made. And you may have said it during the naming rights ceremony last week, but Kyle, if you could just give us an idea, tangible examples, what will this $7 billion do over 6 years? What are some activities or actions where this money will be directly injected, where we Kigali residents can see tangible changes to the BK Arena? So the money, the $7 billion, which is a lot, what are some concrete examples of how and where this money will go?
Yeah, so look, I mean, when our negotiations started, one key aspect that we sort of pinned at the top of our list was customer experience, and the marriage, as you say, between Arena and BK as a baseline has that objective of making sure that the customer experience is seamless, that they are able to interact with the arena efficiently, and enjoy what they are there for, not spending too much time trying to get food from the kiosk or anything of that sort. It's a seamless process. You're enjoying yourself. That was as a baseline. We always do things with people in mind, but as we started to go through the deal, we looked at some of the challenges that we experienced, in our first sort of year and a bit operating the space. And one of them is we have a growing industry with regards to our entertainment industry. And we said to ourselves, well, how do we bring the arena closer to our industry? How do we create a space that is not a hurdle for a up-and-coming promoter or existing promoter to utilize the space? And that was, and that for us said, well, if we can bring deals such as this, where we partner with BK, we start to reduce that hurdle for the community, for our industry, and with that, then catalyze a calendar of events that take place in the arena. So that being a big part of it is we want to bring the arena closer to people. We want to reduce the hurdle and allow people to interact more with the arena. We then move on to creating the events within the space. Is we now want to bring the international community closer to Rwanda. We want to bring them into the space, and we have promoters in the market that are doing that already. So this just augments what is happening and allows for the industry to take it to the next level. We want to put this money back in and allow the industry to grow, because we know in 6 years' time, if it's us, if it's 10 other people doing the same thing, we'll then have a really big economy to play with. And it's to Charles's point earlier with regards to what the government has done with MICE. The government is definitely turning its attention to the sports and entertainment, but it doesn't mean that we must sit and wait for that. Let us do our bit so that when the two meet, the industry is really big, and we speed this process up. We take it from a 7-year process to a 3-year process, where we got a very active entertainment industry. And really working towards the point of being a hub for sports and entertainment.
Thank you very much. Audrey, yes, Carl has answered the question, so to speak, on where the money will be going. Do you want to also comment on that?
I think I'll just to emphasize on the marketing part, because it will help to market the arena more, especially for outsiders. Charles said that we need to bring like the big names to the arena, definitely, and of course, for you to be able to do that, you have to invest also in marketing a lot. So I think it's without forgetting the local market, but also the international market, to make sure that we bring more here, and that's something that we are all working towards, having more and more events in the arena. I think it's what will make definitely the deal successful for all of us.
Yeah, and I like that you said more events. Because my next question really was to do with local events. And Kyle, you mentioned that this $7 million deal, the bulk of the monies more or less would be being injected into customer experience, because the customer is top of, in terms of the planning of the arena, is top priority. But I'm just thinking as a Rwandan who would like to be seeing more local events at the arena. If it's a Bruce Melody concert, if it's a local concert with one of our local artists, what strategies do you have in place to have more of these there? Now that you mentioned that this sort of deal would ensure a more seamless representation of industry players at the arena. And here I'm talking about entertainment, because yes, we've talked about sports, but the arena is used for so much more than sports. So what strategies are there to grow traffic at the arena in terms of local events and entertainment?
Yeah, look, I think I'll go back to the point of lowering the hurdle, and to be a bit more specific. Our local industry is actively growing, But if you come into the arena, you want to hire the arena, and that's already half of your budget going to just venue hire. It makes it that much more difficult to put a show on, especially for local content. And so as a start, what we are going to do is have that pricing model reduce to allow local promoters and local artists utilize the venue a lot more. So that's a starting point. You know, like I say, if we can lower that hurdle where someone comes into the space and the venue hire is not half of your budget, it's now a fraction of your budget. You know, you'll be able to experience the business model of utilizing the venue, generate revenue out of it, and then start to plan for your events to come. You know, we also during the time of COVID did the partnership with Bruce, and we yet to exercise that partnership to its full extent. But I think a lot more of these partnerships are going to start developing. You know, we see the industry and we see the artists coming up, and it's our duty, it's our responsibility as the management of BK Arena to play our part in assisting that industry to grow. So yeah, that would be my point. You know, we've got to reduce this hurdle of venue hire to catalyze these events and get people using the space.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's what I was looking for, a more concrete description of what will actually happen. So really the pricing will be reduced significantly to allow local industry players to have events at the arena. Charles, I'd like to hear your thoughts as well.
Yeah, I'll speak probably to a different point, and that's really around the importance of blending sports and entertainment. You know, I have been to the arena I've taken my kids twice for a go-karting experience, and it was really great. On the first occasion, I was a bit disappointed that there were not too many people. On the second occasion, there were more people, and that was really fulfilling. But on the issue around sports and entertainment, and I think basketball guys are getting it right. So today in the games, even in the local games, you'll find there's an artist, there's a DJ, there's a performer. So it's fun to go out and watch a basketball game. I think the biggest challenge that we have is ensuring that sustainability. You know, I come from the cricketing world and the tennis world, where I start with cricket. You know, you have DJs, you have queen dancers, you have entertainers, you know, throughout the whole game. Not necessarily while the game is happening, but whenever there's an opportunity, there's a bit of that's happening. Tennis guys have not really discovered themselves to do that. Neither have the football guys, with the exception of at a final, when at the beginning of the game, there'll probably be an artist, and that's about it. But for you to have a venue like the Kigali Arena, I think that the aspect of entertainment and sports really has to give Kyle and his team sleepless nights, because you associate it, and please don't take this offensively, Audrey and Bruce. You associate the venue with Bruce, then guys, either a guy who feels he's a little bit higher than Bruce will be like, what am I doing at Bruce's venue? You associate it with BK, a bank that has more money than BK will say, what am I doing at BK's venue? You know, so I think that it's a very important conversation that you guys need to have with yourselves, whilst considering that the venue has to make money. Yeah, there's so much money that has been pumped into it, and those nuances have to be looked into. Yeah.
True. Quick question, Audrey. The naming rights. So what does that mean in terms of let's say Koje Bank wants to sponsor an event at the arena? How does that work?
Yes. So
can they put their brand collateral around the venue, inside the venue?
Yes, so it's BK Arena. Mm-hmm. It has definitely our name, but I mean, all Rwandans are welcome to have their events there. Definitely, for us we have our marketing value for whatever event that happens in the arena. Definitely. So anyone who want to have the event in the arena, I don't think there will be any limitation on what company or what person can have their event there. So it's really open to the public.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel there was this misconception, especially on social media, that if it's BK has the naming rights, it means that if there's an event happening, you cannot have another bank having their brand all over an event that they're sponsoring, because it only is strictly Bank of Kigali. But you're saying that's not the case.
With the naming rights, we have permanent branding at the arena, definitely. But event organizers will still have their branding. Yeah. If it's an entertainment event, they will bring their own branding. If it's sports event, they will bring their own. If they have sponsors, they will bring their own branding, but just for the event. Okay. So it's not going to, we don't think it's going to limit, because we are not saying no other company can come in the arena. Definitely they can come, and they're welcome to the arena, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's easier said than done, because you can imagine, and I'll give you an example of football again. So for a while, the league was sponsored by Primus, and it was called the Primus Football League. One of the leading clubs, I think Rayon Sport, is sponsored by Skol. And they have all this, all their kit has Skol on it. It was a bit of a bizarre situation. I think especially that there's a year in which Rayon Sport won the championship. And at the closing ceremony, Primus was being served to guys in Skol kit. So you can imagine, and I'll pick a sport like cycling. Kyle, I stand to be corrected here. I think there's either there's a route that either starts or stops at the arena. Stops. Yeah, starts. Yeah, at the arena. And these guys at Bank go big and wild. So if they're going to go big and wild at a competitor's venue, I'd like to watch that scene.
No, absolutely. I think it's easier said than done, but yes. I think these are things that will be ironed out, as time progresses. Kyle, I have a question for you. I was privileged to attend the last 2 games at the BAL, and I did last year as well, and actually even at the opening in 2019. My question throughout this period is, what are plans for food and beverage? And I don't mean in the VIP booths or the suites, but you go to, because we're talking world class here, you go to a Staples Center in the US, and on your way to the game, you'll pass different places, you'll get your hot dog and your Coca-Cola and that sort of thing. So what plans do you have for really maximizing and utilizing as much as possible the BK Arena? And here I'm talking about food and beverage for us, the viewers who come to watch events. Yeah, look, I think for us, a lot of our initial sort of coming into the management was a lot of learning. What we see happening across the world, you can't just automatically come in and think it's going to work in the space. You've got to understand your customer. You've got to understand how people interact with the building. And I think we've got to that point where we're really starting to understand what people want from us. We're starting to understand the trends of when people are trying to get food and beverage in the arena. And so we're now actively working on how we maximize our space in the arena, not only inside, but what are the outside areas that could be developed to allow for people to spread out a bit more and create a better experience for the food and beverage. We inherited the building as it is. And the building is primarily built for a basketball experience. And what we're now trying to do is shift that to allow the experience to be to cater for whatever is happening in the building. And so we're looking at all of these trends
and got some exciting partnerships that are coming up and how we want this food and beverage offering to work in the building. Also, just from an in-seat perspective, you know, a lot of event owners worry about sort of a halftime where half your crowd leaves and then they take a long time to trickle back in. So how do we improve that in-seat service so someone can stay in their seat and maybe continue watching the halftime performances or entertainment and not miss any piece of the event? So all of these things are elements that we're constantly working through and trying to see what works best. You know, the temporary food and beverage stands is something that we started to integrate now, not only focusing on hot food, but quick, you know, chips. You can get a packet of chips and continue, and ice cream and continue. And we see a big impact by including those in, because not everyone wants to come and have a full meal. They just want something to put in their stomach and continue. So a lot of thought processes, and I think we'll continue to use this year to perfect what we want to offer to the people of Rwanda.
Thank you very much, Kyle. Definitely many moving parts. Looking forward to these changes, especially brought up one by the marriage between Bank of Kigali and QA Venue Solutions. I would like to just give you closing remarks, Audrey, before I head to Charles and back to Kyle.
Yes. Thank you, Diana. So I would like to tell our audience, I would like to tell the public that definitely, as Kyle said, experience is going to be better, because that's one of the reasons why we invested into this. Because if customers do not have a good experience, then they're not going to come. So experience is going to be better. What he said about food, beverage, and all those are things that we thought about. How can the experience be better? When we are, as I said earlier, when we thought about the card for the arena, it's going to have a lot of discounts.
Just very quickly on the card.
Yes.
So if I want to go to the arena, how do I get that card? I have to go to a Beka branch?
So the card can be, you can get it at a BK branch, instant issuance. You go there, you have your copy of ID and you get the card, or you can get it at the arena as well.
Okay,
so we're going to have a booth at the arena where you can go, you get the card and you can load it, you can give cash, you can load it through mobile wallets as well, and you can also load it through channels, BK channels. So the app, internet banking is already live, app is coming soon as well. So there will be different platforms that you can use to load the card. And also, as you know, we have a very big network of branches. So any branch where you go, you can get the card.
And this card would be for me to buy anything at the arena, though?
Not only that. So when you buy in the arena, we have a big plan about the card, about discounts that you're going to get, not only for tickets, but also for food, for drinks. So that's why what Kai was saying about bringing those, the coffee shop and those who sell the food, the snacks and everything. It's also important because it's also going to help us, to help customers to get more value, even for those who have the big arena cards. So it's also a card that works beyond the arena. It's not only for the arena. We even plan to have more incentive outside the arena, but you can use it on any POS. Parents can load money for their kids instead of giving them cash. You can use it to shop online. As you know, sometimes people are scared to shop with their debit card because you're not sure about the fraud and everything. But with a prepaid card, you load and you buy for whatever you have loaded. So it's a card that works. It's a big arena card because we created it for the arena mostly, but it serves beyond the arena. Yeah. Fantastic. So I would like to tell our audience that definitely the experience will be better, and we have been hearing their feedback, their comments, and we're going to continue to improve. We know that there is a lot of work that needs to be done. We are aware of that, and we are actually at work. We are not sleeping. We are at work, and our aim, of course, is to make sure that this partnership is successful for both of us.
Yeah. Thank you, Audrey. Charles?
I'm I think you guys have a lot of work to do. I don't want to be in Kyle's shoes. Bankers are not the loudest of noisemakers. Naturally, a banker is conservative because they're giving you the money. They're not too sure that you pay them back. Now, even when they're advertising or when they sponsor something, quite very rarely will they actually come to pursue and see that their interest, that their brand and their products are being pushed. Unlike telecoms or breweries that really want to see themselves there, because after all, the goods and services that they sell are consumed by everybody on a daily basis. So I without sounding like a prophet of doom, I want to really see how the size of this big BK brand is going to assist a baby like Arena. That said, there's I think the figure is 100 million, but I stand to be corrected. The amount that was spent on the Kigali Arena. Rwanda has a lot of negative doomsday prophets that are just waiting for things to fall apart in this country. We do hope that the arena does not become a white elephant, and I think the role is it's all of us. It's all of us. It's I thank BK for coming to the party, at least on that front of putting their dollars, their monies where their mouths are. The responsibility then there for yours and mine, Dan, and a few others to be able to go to the arena for all the activities that Kyle and his group will organize for us. That said, I think whoever cares to listen, we need to demystify arena. We need to, the whole entrance is very intimidating. There's talk around that they check your wallet and see, do you have 20,000 francs, you have show your ID, and so we need to demystify that it is a place where anyone can go, but also in terms of not just going there to do nothing. When I had guests, and I think a group of about 20 people on Friday, and we tried to buy some arena memorabilia, and we just couldn't find any. So that kind of experience that we'd like, it will be extremely important to make sure that at least Becca's money does not go to waste. Yeah.
I like that you said merchandising. I know for a long time on the show, whenever we talk about sports tourism, whenever we talk about BK Arena, one of the things that we're really sorely lacking in as a city is when it comes to merchandising around different events, whether it's the BAL, whether it's FIBA and that sort of thing. And I'm just really looking forward to our private sector players, investing in T-shirts, in caps, and that sort of thing in the future. Kyle, I'll head over to you. Closing remarks as we come to the conclusion of tonight's discussion.
Yeah, so from my side, it's it's always a big thank you. It's thank you to our partners, firstly, both BK as well as the government of Rwanda. But I extend that thank you to shows such as the Square, because as Audrey said in the beginning, change is not always an easy thing. And it's our responsibility to engage with the public as much as we possibly can, to let them know that we hear them, that we are with them every step of the way. And it's shows like this that allow us that opportunity. So thank you to you guys. But we're very excited for what is coming. We speak of merchandise, we speak of the events, we speak of the industry as a whole. We speak of how brands interact with each other on this platform. Those are all things that we are extremely mindful of. We have been in this industry, and we want to bring that to Rwanda. We want to bring the platform that is focused on generating an industry that is focused on benefiting the people of Rwanda, that is focused on allowing for brands to utilize the platform to further their business. Our economic impact shouldn't only be seen as what happens in the arena, but should also be seen on what it does to hotels, what it does to brands, the breweries and so on. We play a role, and It's from our side as QA, it's a big thank you to Rwanda for trusting us in doing this.
Thank you, Kyle, and big also congratulations to both of you here on this deal, and all the best, Kyle, on behalf of you're here on behalf of QA Venue Solutions, to really improving the customer experience at the BK arena, and yeah, we'll be seeing more from BK moving forward in the next 6 years. I wanted to ask what happens after 6 years, but I think that's another conversation for another day.
The ticket size of the deal will be multiplied by 6.
Ideally. Yeah, so thank you very much, Kyle. It's been an honor having you. Thank you very much, Audrey. It's been an honor having you. To our viewers who've tuned in tonight, thank you very much for tuning in. To our partners, Bourbon Coffee, thank you for supporting The Square. Have a good night. See you again next week.
Thank you.